Hey there, folks. We're going to talk about high volume training. I did a video discussing it the other day. I'm going to go back through your comments and give you a little bit more context. So, again, to me, if I'm shooting 2,000 rounds a day, which is very unusual, and again, I would say that's very high volume, I'm going to talk you through a normal day, normal practice day for me. Now, what I normally like to do is go hit the range, shoot about 500 rounds in roughly 45 minutes to an hour. That'll be my time on the range. Now, that's pretty rough. It might be a few less rounds. Let's say I'm shooting at more distance. I'll spend more time walking back and forth and checking out targets and stuff like that. So the round count will drop a little bit. Maybe the time will go up a little bit. Let's say I want to extend the session or I'm having a really good time or whatever. Maybe I'll shoot 700, 800 rounds. Not usually as much as 1,000 in the course of my regular training. Now, how often do I do my regular training? That depends on my travel schedule. I've been on the road basically the last 3 months, so I haven't gotten to do the regular training. But in any event, when I do get to do it, what I like is to spend about an hour a day shooting roughly 500 rounds. That to me is very normal. Show up at the range, set up whatever I want to do, like rep, restore the targets, stuff mags, do it again, restore the target, stuff mags, shoot a different variation of the same thing probably, and there you go, right through it. Again, it takes about an hour. Now, that's very fast for most people, but bear in mind, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm like very efficient when it comes to practice. All right. If it's going to be super high volume training like I'm in the middle of now, you can see I'm in the middle of it. What that's going to look like is multiple of those sessions broken up in the same day. So shoot for an hour, 90 minutes, take a break, do another session, take a break, do another session, take a break. That kind of thing. Now, I'm not telling you guys to do this. This is obviously crazy. It's not something that everybody needs to do. There's all kinds of diminishing returns when you're shooting that much. Of course, it's just what I do for one reason or another, whether I'm, training myself, training with someone else, or, whatever, for whatever reason. That's kind of how it lays out. So let's go through your comments on the high volume training. See what you guys had to say about it. Ooh. All right, let's sort these comments out by the top comments. All right. All right, my hands look the same from being single. Yes, many, many comments on my hands. And I'm just trying to keep my hands as good as I can. You can see I've been at it. I've been at it for more than a week now, shooting high volume daily. I'm getting a little bit tired, mentally, physically. You can see my hands are getting a little bit banged up. There's some marks here. I have a cut down here. Most of that's not from shooting itself, strictly speaking, but from banging my hand on something on some gun that I'm fucking with, something like that. All right, taking care of yourself isn't cowardice, it's responsibility. Yes, many, many comments about my hands. Guys don't like the tape. Okay, how often do you get your lead levels checked? My lead levels are lower than you might believe. It's been a couple years since I got them checked, but they were in the normal range. They were not elevated. They were fine. Now I'm not doing a lot of reloading. I'm not. I wouldn't say. I would say I do what I do without being a really big dumbass about it. I try to not be breathing in as much as possible. Not breathing in the gas. I typically do not shoot indoors, although I am shooting indoors currently. All right. Everyone wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's hard on you to train that hard for any sort of sport or endeavor. When you put a lot in, it's tough. All right, people making comments about your hands probably don't shoot much. Most of the guys I know that shoot regularly have hot spots regardless of the gun. Yeah, I mean, most people don't shoot this much, obviously. It's a little bit mental. All right. Looks like bro beat off a cactus. Yes, absolutely. See what else. Shooting high round counts tore my hands up worse than martial arts or working on projects in my shop. Mostly knife restoration or modification with a fair bit of leather work, wood carving, and some furniture. Yes, shooting high volume tears you up. I agree. Laughing at the guys thinking 2,000 rounds a day is made up. That's about what Eric Raffel does a few weeks before IPSC World Shoot. Yeah, Eric and I were on the same team. We have a pretty similar mentality about this. Now, I'm not shooting 2,000 rounds a day all the time, but back in the day before I go to nationals, it'd be 2,000 a day for a while. Now, I'm pretty efficient with it again, so it's not as big of a deal as it sounds like especially shooting pistols. It's just like stuff in mags and shooting. You do that probably 5, 6 hours. I'll get through. I'll be tired and I've shot a couple thousand rounds. I really hope Ben is getting tuned up for his return to USPSA. Well, I have been shooting a Titan. Um, I would like to measure the cognitive dissonance of the dry fire is more valuable than live fire crowd when Ben talks about 2K a day times multiple days. Look, the reality is dry fire is a necessity. Like even for me, I'm doing dry reps in the middle of the live training. Most people, dry fire is the way that they can train. Now, is dry fire a little bit limited in some ways? Yes, but there's a lot of advantages to doing a lot of dry fire. As over the years, I've kind of gotten to the point where, like, to me, in my head, training is training. It's like if I'm doing dry fire diligently, the way that I know is right, it's mentally, physically exhausting in very much the same ways. It's maybe a little bit more boring just because, you're not making as much noise. But again, in my head, it's like, well, training is training. I don't, I would get maybe not just as much, but I would get a lot out of doing dry fire with the same degree of intensity. It's just, it would be tough for me to stay engaged for that much time. That's all. I mean, like, again, like dry fire is something you pretty much have to do. Like it's very difficult to get around that. Um, Imagine putting more than 100K of ammunition downrange a year. Few can, and even fewer would want to. Yeah, I mean, I am fortunate that I get to shoot a lot. Very frequently, it's not my ammo. It will be some agency or some institution or some whatever. Like I'm not directly buying it, but again, like I buy a lot of ammo as well. I mean, I've been shooting a lot the last few years. Um, I don't know what I shot last year. It's well over 150,000 rounds last year. I'm sure of that. Wow, and my wife and friends think I'm high volume for doing 1,000 rounds a month at my peak. That is high volume. Like, let's be real, that's a lot of shooting. Like most people don't shoot that much. All right, Ben, I'm a retired firearms trainer. I found your channel several months ago. I must say you have opened my eyes to several new approaches and successfully challenged some very long held beliefs. Awesome. Much of my experience with brand new students teaching very basic techniques, I would frequently teach an 8-hour evolution firing at most 100 rounds. Can you please explain why you shoot 2,000 rounds in a day's training? Old dog here, either eager to learn more. Well, I mean, what I'm doing now is it's more of a one-on-one coaching thing with a guy he's very keen to shoot a lot. So with just a couple of us shooting, it's like so I'll set up the thing. This is the thing we're doing. Demonstrate what I want, and then like watch him do the thing. I'll do the thing for a while. He's kind of watching, like, yep, okay, that's what I want it to look like. It's effectively like the ammunition is effectively irrelevant right now, as far as money. So it's good. It's like he can see what like he's seeing rep after rep. Like this is what I want. This is what I want you to do. And I'll do real training, like push to failure, and then push him. And it's kind of this like back and forth type of dynamic. That's why I'm shooting 2,000 a day. Other times I would do that is prep for a really big match just to get super acclimated to the gun. That would be another reason to do it. I think 100 rounds a day for demos is fine. The last teaching trip I did, I had 5 classes, 10 days, and I brought 5 cases of ammo and used almost all of it. So maybe 4,600 rounds in 10 days on the range was just demo ammo. I demo like higher volume shooting and I'll demo drills multiple times, give lots of examples for guys so they can see exactly what I'm talking about. I wouldn't say that I get a ton of training value out of that, but people can watch and see the same drill a few different ways. If you're shooting a 10 or 12 round drill, you demo it 3, 4 times. Okay, you demo it 3 times, that's 36 rounds. 4 times, that's 48 rounds. And the demonstrations might take 90 seconds. So, I mean, it goes pretty fast. And it's like, again, you give people a few looks at it. That's kind of the idea. Nice to know you don't have problems with your hands. I was wondering myself, actually. Thanks and continue the good work. Yes, I'm very fortunate to not have those problems. 2K rounds a day is insanity. Yeah, it is insanity. This after the 50 rounds in a week doesn't count as training. I don't know. I find this guy less credible now. This sounds made up. Maybe it's not, but it should be. What are you getting out of your 1,999 shot? Nothing. You're not getting that much out of it. There's a ton of diminishing returns. It's mostly. I mean, I'll get to a point where I'm just like going through it, just because the guys want to go through it. Um, yeah, like 50 rounds a week live fire. It's like I wouldn't view that as my training. My training would be dry, and then the 50 rounds live that I get to shoot would be the test. Young Poor Ben, that's what Young Poor Ben did, where it's like dry fire, dry fire, dry fire, lots of reps. And then the live fire was super restricted because I didn't have money. So I had to be extremely diligent and careful with how I used the ammo, but I could still get what I wanted to out of the training. Yeah. Okay, I'm a little perturbed by the doubters who are just jealous they aren't Ben. If you aren't aware, Ben is a professional firearms instructor and competitive shooter. As an instructor, I can easily see him shooting 2,000 rounds in a day. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too bent that people don't believe what I'm saying. It's like, it's crazy. It's far beyond what normal people would be doing. Like, I get that. Um, Assuming you're working as an instructor, how many rounds are the students shooting? So in a group class, typically 750 rounds a day. That's pretty normal. It depends though. There might be an agency, institution, or group that has more access to ammunition, and the ammunition's not an issue, so we can shoot a lot more. But open enrollment classes, I mean, 600, 750 a day, maybe 500 in a day, depending. I try to not just like burn up people's ammo. I try to work within what people have and kind of get the most out of it. Um, hmm. No gloves. You said you shift your gun and ammo choice depending on whom you're training with the class. I imagine some of your training attendees use gloves in the field. No, no, like people don't do competitive handgun shooting with gloves. Now, I was gloved up today shooting a rifle, but that was just for heat reasons. I was doing the Michael Jackson thing, just my left hand gloved up. I don't like shooting in gloves. I can't feel what I'm doing. Um, if you're shooting 2K rounds in a day, how many magazines are you dealing with? How are you reloading them with that many rounds? Um, I have help right now, so I don't fill them right now. Um, Sometimes I'm in that situation. When I was working in Russia a few years ago, like I didn't have to fill mags for that either. Like that was fucking awesome. There's just guys to do it. If I'm out training by myself, obviously I'm filling mags. Hmm. Why don't more people shoot with gloves? I bought a pair specifically for shooting and they seem great. I want to start exploring competition shooting. I think I'll be using gloves entirely for reasons to do with grip and sweat. I would recommend chalk instead of gloves. It's the same reason people don't like having sex with condoms. Like they can't feel what they're doing. You can still fuck, of course, but it's not the same. Um, do you reload your own mags, Ben? Yes. Do you use a mag loader? No. Typically, no. The only time I've done that is if it's like mags that I effectively can't reload without my hands, without a lot of discomfort or pain. So if it's like the 140 mil USPSA mags that you're getting them chock full, I pretty much need to use a tool to load most mags. Hmm. Why chalk the back of the right hand? Nothing touches that area. I just do it, man. I just chalk it all. It's what I like to do. Would be curious to know if you do anything to keep your hands or wrists healthy while shooting 2K rounds a day for your heavier weeks. No, I don't. I need to exercise or stretch my hands. Like my hands, like the muscles in my hands are fine. It's just the skin that's an issue. Um, hmm, let's see what's going on. Man, I would love to, but unless you're a law enforcement officer with unlimited free ammo, so as a civilian, reloading yourself is the only way to get any volume of shooting without getting flagged by the ATF for suspicious ammo stockpiling. I don't know about that. I don't think that's true. Hmm. Why don't you just allow calluses to form and then not worry about it? My hands are calloused a little, but when the calluses get too big, they get really big, then it's really easy to tear them, and then you really got a problem. Do you still eat your tuna with your hands like that? No, I use a fork. A common range snack for me is like a can of tuna. I eat it with a fork. Have you tried gloves? Yes, I've tried gloves. $400 worth of ammo. That's a good day. Yeah, it's good. Like we were shooting like expensive ammo today, like RRLP, like training ammo with rifles. That shit's expensive. I just don't understand. Does it really take that much ammo in one day to remain proficient as a firearms instructor? Absolutely not, it doesn't. Absolutely not. It's not about that. I know it's not all the time, but along with all the other thousands of rounds he already shot in that week and the week before that and the week before that, I know Ben's very talented and driven shooter, competitor, and trainer, but what is the end game here? There's not an end game. I like shooting and training and I like trying to improve. How long can someone sustain this? Like, I don't know. It's been a long time. In training for any sport, there comes a moment where you're become so fatigued mentally and physically that you're no longer building skill. Yeah, I'm about there. So I'm almost done, and then I'll have 3 or 4 days off a range, and then I'll be back on a range, and I'll be ready for the break. I'm ready for the break. I'll put it that way. Let's see what other comments we got here. Anything good? Oh, keyboard warriors who thought you were putting on tape because you're a pansy or whatever, and then have the audacity to say that you're spoiled or soft for doing so. Those fools just outed themselves. I would think it's pretty well established to your viewer base that you train a little bit more than average Joe, but I guess that doesn't stop the internet from rendering judgment. Yeah, a lot of people have strong opinions about stuff that they don't do or don't know about. Walking lead deposit, you'd be surprised how low it is. You would be surprised. All right, there it is. Well, guys, there you go. Good discussion about high volume training. If there's any interesting questions or comments, I'll address them in a future video. So just put that stuff down below.